Hello, I have a message for you from the notebook. It's a doozy, so the best I can suggest is that we try to keep an open mind, because it's gonna hit you right in the feels, I think, if you're open to it. This is from my spirit guides. It's always from my spirit guides unless I say otherwise. The polarity on your planet will continue to increase until the bubble has burst. The peace will grow, as will the chaos. The bubble can only burst when those living in a frequency of love begin to lock step with the collective focus. There are many living a frequency of judgment disguised as love, but the disguise is thin. For those feeling judgment against others, this is nothing more than a judgment of yourself, for it seems to be easier to find the fault in others than it is to heal yourself. We say to you now, it is infinitely easier to release your self-judgment than it is to perpetuate the judgment of others, for judging others is a continuous judgment of self. To lockstep the frequency of love with others, wishing to do the same, you must only focus on the outcome of love for others, regardless of past or current transgressions. Regardless of past or current transgressions. It's hard to say out loud because that's hard. That's hard to do, and I get it. We're going to talk about it in a minute. We are not suggesting you accept the behaviors you do not prefer. We are only suggesting a shifting of your focus past the energetic payment you desire. For as long as you desire retribution, you can only create more need for retribution, right? And what does that mean? For as long as you desire that somebody pay for what they've done, you are just creating this like circular movement. It's a cycle, the circular energy of they must pay for what they've done, and then all you're going to see in your reality are people who have to pay for what they've done from your viewpoint, right? You're creating more of that same. This is a cycle that cannot break. Only when you truly desire peace and love over the pain and suffering of those you believe should endure pain and suffering do you shift the energy to freedom of that cycle. And then also, once you shift that, then you no longer believe that they should have pain and suffering. It's like a twofer, right? It's like a twofer thing that happens right there. Ask me how I know, because I've done it. I used to be real judgy, and I healed it. And the moment that I healed that judgment shadow that I had in myself, guess what happened? I no longer desired for anybody to feel any kind of pain or suffering. Now, I wish for certain people, like past me, right, would have wished that there would be retribution for, horrible acts that people commit against other people, where the current version of me wishes that they find love, they find understanding, they find expansion of their mind, of their consciousness, so they will no longer want to do those things. So see the difference, right? Once you can let go of that judgment, you no longer feel the need for all those things that kept you in judgment. It heals itself, and you shift quite dramatically, actually. Okay. This is how we burst the bubble of chaos. For each person that chooses this higher frequency will immediately begin to feel its effects, which will grow with you as you grow. No one may escape the karma they've created. Okay, just a note on karma. Karma is not a punishment. Karma just means energy. That's it. So if you've created this energy, right, or exuded this energy of hate, then at some point you're going to have to rebalance that with love, whether you do that in this incarnation or a future incarnation or from the ethereal somehow. You will have to rebalance that, right? That's all that is talking about. Okay, I'm going to read that sentence again. No one may escape the karma they've created, so we offer you a new perspective. Why would you choose to continue to accrue your karma of judgment when you can immediately begin rebalancing with love? Heal yourself to heal your planet. Heal yourself to heal your planet. It's so good. Okay. Pause if you need that to sink in, because that was a lot. That was big. I'm now going to talk about how you heal your fear, because that is probably the most popular question I've gotten in the last few videos. So we're going to talk about it here, right? Okay, this is how you heal your fear. First, this is what I do. This is step by step what I do. First, I say, what am I actually afraid of? Like, what am I, because sometimes you just know you feel scared and you haven't pinpointed it. So freaking pinpoint it. What am I afraid of? That's number one. Pause the video, write these things down. I'm telling you, write them on a little sticky note or a note card and then put them up somewhere where you see them. Number one, what am I afraid of? Pinpoint it, find the thing. And there is going to be a disconnection between your heart and your brain here. Some of these things that you're going to write down as you're exploring these, you're going to be like, but that's so silly. That doesn't make sense. That's okay. Let it be silly. Let it not make sense. Okay? You are simply finding out what your heart is feeling, so you can heal the fear, okay? You can know it consciously. You can know better up here, but if you don't feel it here as well, you're still gonna have that emotion, right? So let it be illogical, let it sound silly as you write these things down. Okay, number one, what am I afraid of? Number two, why am I afraid of this? Be honest with yourself. Like, you have to be so brutally honest with yourself. Freaking why? What do you think's gonna happen? Okay? This is one of the rare times where I'll be like, what's the worst that you think could possibly freaking happen from this? Just be honest. You're already thinking it, even if it's subconsciously, so let that come out. Let it come to the surface. So that was number two. Why am I afraid of this? Number three, what purpose does it serve? Because here's the deal, babes. If it did not serve a purpose, you would not be experiencing it. You can cry and yell at me all day long if that's what you want. It's not going to make you go through these questions. It's not going to help anything, really. But you're welcome to if that's what makes you feel better. Because you would not be experiencing it if it did not serve a purpose. For instance, there are some people who are so, this is not a generalization, this is just one tiny, tiny, tiny example. Perhaps you are overweight and you are unhappy with your weight, but you can't seem to dedicate yourself to eating better. You can't seem to dedicate yourself to moving your body, exercising more, doing the things that you know that will feel good and be healthy, right? Because you are afraid, now I'm going about this backwards, but because you are afraid that if you are physically ready for a relationship, that you have to dive into it because you are not emotionally ready for a relationship. That's just one example that I've seen repeated a few times from private clients, okay? It serves a purpose. Whatever you are doing serves a purpose, or you would not be doing it. And then number four, I say, do I believe this, right? So then if I was that person who was like, I can't lose weight because I'm not actually ready to be in a relationship. I don't want that pressure. Like, I don't want anybody looking at me. I don't want to be perceived, right? I don't want any of that. Then I would say, well, do I believe this? Do I believe that just because I lose the weight, that means that I have to automatically be in a relationship, that automatically people are going to be noticing me and looking at me, or perhaps sexualizing me, or whatever the thing is? No, that doesn't mean that at all. That just means that I'm feeling better in my body and I'm one step closer to being the person I want to be, right? So you have to ask yourself, number four, do I believe this? If the answer is no, I don't believe that, that's a limiting belief and you've just cleared it. Because the moment that you can go, that's so silly, or no, I don't believe that, that's a limiting belief and it's done. So then you go, okay, what do I believe instead? And write that down, concrete it, because that's your new belief. If the answer is yes, I do believe it, that's pointing to a shadow, and you can clear the shadow through either booking me, or I have recommendations on books on my website. So click the link in my bio, go to my website and go to Book Recs and Beyond. And right near the top are 2 shadow work books. They go together, they're a little set. You can use those things to also work through your shadows, okay? But you can also book me if that's what you want to do, okay? I will also tag below somebody that I use for my really big shadows. She's amazing, okay? So if you can't get me, or you don't want me and you prefer somebody else, okay, book her. She's incredible. Now, if you're having any kind of big, giant, complex trauma, the person I tagged is your girl to go to. She does complex trauma. I'll do trauma, the regular types, but if you have complex trauma, I'm sending you to her because she is trained on how to deal with complex trauma. She's very good. Also, giant, huge shadows, the giant, huge ones, probably not great to clear on your own, probably great to have somebody else help you work through it, okay? That's what I'm for, that's what she's for, okay? Let me know how this sits. This was a lot. Love you so much.